We're Byron and Jill, two hands-on people with big dreams. In 2024, we jumped headfirst into our off-grid dream and purchased a 100-acre block at Mount Binga. After relocating here in 2025, our big goal right now is transforming this incredible century-old Ashgrovian Queenslander into our forever home. This isn't just a renovation, it's a complete transformation, a huge project demanding a lot of energy and time, and it's going to take everything we've got. And we'd love to have you along for the ride. Every challenge, every triumph, every step of the way.
Welcome back to another episode of Off Grid at Mount Binga. Today's going to be a special one. We're going to finish the porch off. Bay window's done, so we've got to install some new posts on the porch, clean the deck up, put a new bearer in, a new joist, just get that thing safe and stable. I've also got a bit of a treat to show you, something pretty special, something new, something that will benefit the project up here every day. Let's get stuck into it. Well, we've got to get stuck into this porch. We've got some rotten posts, which I've showed you in the last episode. We've got to replace this bearer here. We've got a joist to put in above the bearer. I've also got some decking to replace this edge. We're going to put a decent nosing board around here. We're going to cut this deck back, replace this front nosing board, get rid of all this rot here on the edge, wrap it back around, nice miter cuts, everything tidy. The biggest thing is getting these posts replaced. I've got some new pine posts, exactly the same as this piece on the bottom, but we're going to have a continuous post go all the way up. So unfortunately for now, I've got to rip some of that feature work out of the way. We might put it back on, we might not. What do you think? Jill wants it back on, so I think we better. We'll get this little area safe so we can get up here, walk around, no worries. Make sure the roof doesn't fly off in the next storm because there's no connection there. That'll be today's job, and that's what we're going to get stuck into. So we have no power up here on the job. So we've been sent the new VTOMAN 2200 off-grid battery setup. Well, it's going to be off-grid for us, and we're going to use the most out of it. We've got a solar panel to keep it charged up. I'm going to plug it in, get it plugged into my trailer. I'll take you through that. We've got a fridge, a microwave, a coffee machine. I've got 1, 2, 3 battery chargers in my trailer. Then we can get power up inside. I've also got another 3 battery chargers there. I've also got my camera gear that needs to be charged. So we're going to give this thing a real test today and see what it's good for. Let's cut it open and have a look. Awesome, we've got a sticker kit that can add to my fridge. We've got a bag of goodies here. Looks like we've got our power charging cable. Excellent, we've got all our chargers. Looks like we've got our USBs, plug-ins for cars, plug-ins for 240. All right. That is super compact. First impressions, it's tidy. Feels good, feels strong. It's got some nice Allen key bolts on it, ventilation, 3 plugs here for 240. This has a jump start feature. This might come in handy up at the block here. There's often times I go to start the Bobcat or a spare farm ute over there, and I've got no power into the ute, so that will come in handy. 2 USB outputs, 4 USB 2.4A outlets, and we've got our input and our output, DC out. So we can't run this thing without charging it up, and because we're off grid here, we're going to get this thing plugged into the solar panels and let's start charging it up. That way we can get on with our day, and we're going to run a full test here. We're going to plug it into the drop saw as well, circular saw, and we'll test it out. We'll do some real life testing, see what it's good for. I've made the perfect spot for it in the trailer, right next to my smoko room. As you can see here, I got my coffee machine, my fridge, my microwave. I got my music up there, smoko room here, coffee pods, salt, sunscreen. It's all here. That way I can take this thing anywhere, and it's never let me down actually. This setup here, I've had a team of 3, sometimes a team of 4 live and work out of this trailer. I used to go to job sites out of town, up to 2 hours away, and camp, get the job done, and this trailer would keep us going. But now we've got something else that's going to power this little trailer. Let's get some solar plugged into it, get it charged up. This here is super neat. It's got these awesome handle grips, and it's backed with this really nice fabric and a little case that had some extra cables in it. It's also got some little stands here that come out and hold it up. Unreal. Well, that cable there's a bit short. We've only got 2.5 meters of cable, so that's not going to reach my trailer. Let me move this thing around. Okay, we've got the little solar panel kit moved. We've got it plugged in. All right, we're on the charge, so let's plug in. Let's see what we got here. This is my main plug for the trailer. This is what I normally plug into the job site when I get there. This goes into an external plug on the trailer. That fires this whole thing up. It's fully wired. All right, we're on. Fridge is on. Microwave's on. Coffee machine's on. Up here I've got all my tools laid out, so I've got my 2 chargers on at the moment. I've got another charger down here, which is my Milwaukee charger. It normally lives up there with the rest of the chargers. All my charge batteries go here, and then I've got all my tools laid out. They all have a spot. I've got my music over here and another four power plugs there. I've got all my nuts, screws, nails, packers, glues, the whole lot. All my stock, hardware stock, is living up here. If I need something, it's all marked. I know where everything is. I've got batten screws, clouts, metal screws, needle point screws, nuts, washers, dynabolts, final fit off stuff, silicone, liquid nails, finish nails, the list goes on. Everything's here. I also run a little magnet over here. It's like a little kitchen magnet, and I put all my bits there. I've got my 5/8 bits, star tips, long tips, spade bits, a paint opener. Anything that's metal that I get to often lives up in here. Before I forget, we better get our smoko into the fridge. In the fridge I've got a few cold drinks, normally water, and something for when we knock off. So that's a little tour around the trailer. Main thing is trying to test this little VTOMAN out. That's one plug going in, it's going to run the trailer. So what we're going to do now is run a power lead over to the big saw, my drop saw, and we're going to run another power lead over to where we're going to be working today. So this thing's going to get a test, and that's what it's for. We're going to test it out, we'll see what it's good for. We'll see if it can handle the job up here, and we'll see if it's going to help with this Reno. Let's get into it. Absolute beautiful day here. Sun's beaming. It's a wee bit warm so far, but we'll settle in. It's better than being freezing cold. Not looking forward to the cold weather that's coming. It's nice for a few months before winter, and then once winter cranks in, it's bloody cold actually here at Mount Binga. Colder than I thought. I'm more of a summer man, but it is nice to get cozy around the fire. Anyway, it's time we get stuck into it and get a bit done. We're geared up, let's go. First things first, we're going to rip down these posts, take them out, put new ones in, and then we're going to do our work around that. It's very important we get new posts in here. As you've seen in the previous episode, they're rotten on the bottom like you wouldn't believe. They absolutely had it. I have a feeling they're not really outdoor grade posts, they're more like landscaping posts. Well, landscaping posts are for outside, but they're not structural. They probably haven't been kiln dried, and once water gets through this paint, which you can see here, things just really start rotting out, and I mean it's proper rotting out. So I'm going to measure a few things here and cut some little props. We're going to prop this roof up with some framing pine, and then we can get to cutting a few things out, seeing what we've got up here. I'm not sure yet on the connection. Everything looks to be butt joined, but I could be wrong. We don't know yet, but we will find out very soon. All right. $2.50 m for that side, $2.50 m for that side, and a little block for the floor just to transfer that load across a bit. So we'll do two at $2.50 m and two little blocks. While I work through this, just remember what's powering this job. I just got out my biggest circular saw, didn't bog down, didn't trip anything, no weird funky stuff. So that's a good start for that VTOMAN. Inspector Nino's come up for a look. And what do you think? Do you want to go inside? Have a look around. Now, while I'm standing here, I've noticed I probably need another two. Another one here, another one here. That way all these beams are supported. Like I said, I don't know what that join is into those posts where the beam meets the post yet. But if I cut that free, I don't want this beam falling down. And honestly, I don't want the roof falling down either while I'm working under here. So I'm just going to cut two more of those props. I've got the blocks here. At least then we can do any sort of demo here and we know we're safe. We can just rip this thing apart and it's not going to come down. Alright, I think now we're safe. Let's get a few things out of our way. We'll start by taking these out. Now look, I'm going to smash them out. I can't save them. I'm about to break this one off with my fingers. Unfortunately they're rotten. Completely rotten. So you're going to see me go at it with a hammer right now. But don't worry, we're going to get something very similar to this and we'll put it all back on. Not today, but in the future we will. We want to expose what sort of join we've got, and what I can see here is probably a butt joint, eh? Anyway, that'll make life a bit easier for us. Let's get downstairs and see what we can figure out down there. I've got old rusty bolts here, so there's no point me saving them, taking them off, trying to save them. I've got some more, so we're just going to whack them off. It's things like this that make me laugh during the day. Look what's left of that bolt. Now this piece of nosing board along the front here is completely cooked. So we're going to take it off. And that one there, well, it's broken. Well, just like that, there's one post out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nails holding that post in place. We're going to change from nails to screws just to beef that joint up. We're going to fix a few things. As you can see, it's pretty hammered, but we're still standing. Without these two props, this roof would be on top of my head. So if you're doing demo, think ahead. Make sure you get yourself set up to be safe. For those that are keeping up with the Porch rebuild series, you would remember that I guess probably 2 nails holding this post together. You'd be glad to know that there was actually no fixings holding it together. I cut the top, kicked the bottom. Whatever was here is completely rusted out. So that marks the dodgiest thing on this job. That post there was just, well, I don't know what it was doing. It was there. It wasn't holding on, but it was sitting there. There it is. What's left of it. Okay, we're just about right to start rebuilding this little section anyway. We've still got a lot of cutting to do, but I'm not going to do more cutting till I get the bracing out of the way. And it's important to make sure everything's stable before we move on to the next job. So I'm going to get these posts in as fast as I can. But to get that done, I need to put a new bearer through here, posts, a joist, and so on and so forth. So there is a little process here, but we're ready to put this bearer in. I'm going to get a measurement. $18.50, long to long. That is our long point. 18.50 is our length. We will double check that. 18.50 will work nicely. Now what we need next is camber up. Every piece of timber's got a bow in it, so we want the bow to go up. That way when it takes a bit of load, it can sag down. If you start with bow down, or you're not looking at it, and you put it bow down, load's going to go on it, it's going to bow down even worse. So we'll call it bow up in that position, which means we've got to spin it around. It's going to go just like that. Before I put it on, I'm going to prime it with a bit of paint. We've got a raw cut here. The last section failed because no one painted it, so it's important we get a bit of paint on now, a bit of primer, and it's just going to last a little bit longer. We're going to prime up the existing sections here as well. Any bit of priming paint on any bit of exposed timber is beneficial, so if you can do it, get it done. Doesn't take much to get the brush out. I mean, yeah, it's a hassle. Some people don't like painting, and painting is a hassle, but without it, it just doesn't pay off. So any bit of exposed timber you have, get some paint on it, prime it up. It'll be worth it in the long run. We're just going to get one screw in it to hold it. We're going to bolt this up when we do the post, but we can't have it swinging around the breeze, so we'll get one in it. It'll hold everything right and tight until we can drop our post into it. I think we might be ready for our post. Let's do a measurement. We have 24, 28. We have 24, 28. Can you believe it? It's the same measurement. $24, $28. $24, $28. Don't forget what's running that saw. That's my biggest drop saw. It's pulling 1650 watts with each cut. So that VTOMAN is doing it easy. I have a slightest feeling that I won't be able to get these in because of the angle I've got in the room I have. I have a plan B if this doesn't work. Well, that's a good sign. We don't need plan B. With a bit of persuasion, we have our second post in. Okay, we're ready to put some bolts in. We've got our bearer in, we've got temporary screwed off, we've got our posts in, we've got them screwed off to the beams, both sides. I've prepped a joist in the meantime, it's drying, it's got a coat of paint on it, so we'll give that another 10 minutes. But in the meantime, we're going to whack some bolts in. I've got my auger bit here, I've got my bolts there. Let's join this up. Now we've got our bearer bolted in, we've got our joist sitting in place. All we need to do now is screw it off. And we're getting through this, no worries at all. This piece of hardwood here I had left over, so it's recycled. Try and use what we can, at least the materials that aren't rotten. Now I'm getting through the jobs here pretty quickly, so it's hard for me to talk about every single step because honestly I'm all over the place. I'm here, there, collecting things from over there, getting things from over here, you know, I'm just non-stop here. But what I'm doing now is just prepping for the decking board to fill in this little spot. And I've got a little bit of dry rot on the end of these joists. It's not terrible, but it's not great. And I won't get maximum hold with my flooring, so I'm just going ahead and cut some little blocks. I'm going to screw them in, fill in these little areas. I'm just thinking ahead now because I'm ready to put some decking down, some nosing board, and I need something solid to fix to, so I'm just going to go ahead now and get that done. I've gone ahead and got all the blocks in. These are all the trimming blocks for the decking, and they're all sitting on top of that bearer. Now as we work our way around, I've got this joist in and more blocks this way. Anyway, it's about that time. We're going to pull up for smoko. So we're going to run the microwave today. We're going to test out the VTOMAN, and look at that. I've still got everything connected. The fan just come on, so I know it's working hard, but it's doing the job. The fridge is still running, trailer's all plugged in. I haven't disconnected anything, and we've got 2 minutes on the clock, so at the moment it's going pretty strong. Once we get that food heated up, we're going to make a fresh brew of coffee. We're going to do a double shot. Starting to warm up a bit. It says it's 30 degrees and we are working in the morning sun, so I'm sweating a little bit, but once we cross over we'll start getting in the shade and it's going to be much nicer. Pull up for a minute now and have a break. On the menu today we've got a bit of pasta, a little bit of leftover salad and a can of tuna. This will bloody keep us going all day long. And it's not often I have smoko on my own. Oh, smoko's over. We're all recharged. We'll get stuck into finishing this little porch project off. We're ready to lay some decking boards. Let me show you how this is going to happen. So we've got some nice 90 by 19 Merbau, pre-oiled, beautiful stuff, straight as. So all you need to do is check around a few posts, put a miter on this corner, send it that way, trim a few boards, miter on that corner, send it back to the house. That'll cap this little deck off really nicely. So I've got it sitting in position, but I've got a post here and a post here that are actually in the way. I need the decking board to push further that way. So I'm going to mark that out. I need to make sure firstly that it's parallel with the existing deck. Also what I've got under here. So I've got 60mm hanging over there. And 50mm down here. So I'm going to bring this side out a little bit. Then all I have to do is mark where my posts are. I'm just using my square here, transferring a line off the edge of my post. Okay, now that I've got that, I need to work out how much I need to check out around the post. And that's the same thing. As long as we're sitting nice and parallel at 55mm. All we then have to do is measure the difference. Now I want to have a 3mm gap up in there, and tight I've got 30. So that means I've got to waste 27mm. So I'm going to write that there. 27. And down at this end, It's much less than that. Let's mark that out over here. 27 millimeters is right there. Okay. We've got the perfect fit straight up, which is a good start. Now what we've got to do is work out this way what's going on. Now what I need it to be parallel around this corner is the same measurement this way, 40 mil, and we need to do 40 mil on this side. And at the moment I've got 55. So that means I have to do a 15 mil rebate into this post, and that'll push it back in to 40 mil. Same down here. So it's the same thing. All I have to do is mark out my cut there, and we only need to waste 15 mil, so I'm going to write it down. I've got the same over here. $15 mil. $40 mil. 40 mil. So you can see here I've left them both long and both square. That's for a reason, because we are going to miter these, but because this deck's so far out of square and everything else, now I have my corner out here and my internal corner there. So all I have to do is mark that on both pieces of timber, and that way I can cut that miter. It might not be 45 degrees, I don't know yet. But what I do know is that if I mark them both the same on the long point and both the same on the short point, I'm going to get the best fit I can. Okay, I've got the miters cut. Now I need to trim back the existing decking boards, which is good. I've got rot underneath this fresh board, and I want the board down to sit flush. So now that I've got this in position, my nosing board, I've got my miter right, I've got my other nosing board right, I can just go along now and mark the existing deck. A nice solid line. And that line right there is where I'm going to cut off these decking boards. We'll get rid of all this dry rot. Just like that, we now have our perfect space for our nosing board to sit down. Beautiful. I might even run an edge on that. $1 meter. Okay, now we've got all our nosing sorted. Miters are done, checkouts are done. It's all fitting just lovely. All we have to do now is screw it off. I've got some beautiful stainless steel screws with a square tip on them. I'm not going to nail this. I don't really like nails in deck boards. They sort of come loose, they get rusty, and eventually they just fail. They let go of the deck, so I've got a beautiful stainless steel screw with a square head on it. I'm going to countersink these so they're sitting just below the surface, and it should be just nice. This little bit here, countersinks and pre-drills all in one. There's the depth setting. Beautiful. I'm going to keep going with this, and then I'm also going to screw off these end boards where they're all kicking up here. Well, we've just about got this front porch wrapped up. I can't thank VTOMAN enough. This little jump 2200 has been perfect for today. We've got full sunlight, and not once has it slowed down, struggled, or anything to keep up. So it's run the big drop saw, it's run my big circular saw, it's powering my trailer. I cook my smoko in it, it's got my cold water in it, it's running this off-grid show absolutely perfectly. So thanks again. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this one. In the next episode, who knows where we'll be, but we're going to keep on going around the house. Or I might show you something else. I don't know myself, but thanks for following along. I'll see you soon.